Hello everyone, my name is Dave Partner. Welcome to your next tutorial on Firebase with Ionic2. In the past tutorial we did a login function and we created this login page. So and log out function too. So let's quickly see what if we can add a reset password button here. So we get back to our code, and then we have these two buttons. We can just have let's just see if we can have a div, and then we have a button, and the button we have this clear. I will say forgot password. Okay, so let's see what happens. So the page refreshes and we have forgot password, but we need it to be down here in the middle. So we add we need this guy down here in the middle. We add full and say okay, it's now in the middle. The next thing we need is for it to come down here. Now that will involve us, we could write the CSS right here, but that will be crazy. We need to do it the proper way, which will involve us to go to our login folder and go to the CSS file. So go to our login folder, pages, login, CSS, and we can start writing our CSS file, CSS commands here. That is, but first of all, we need to be sure that this login.css is imported in our app.core.css. This guy here, app.core.scss. So to do that, we open this guy. I just want to show you where it is. We'll go to theme, then we open app.core.css. So we'll just make sure that there is a login here. So what we'll do is duplicate one of the lines, and then we add login. We'll link our logins.scss file. So now we can now work with this guy easily. So we write a code. We'll start writing commands for this guy, for our button. So what we do is we write a CSS for this. So we'll go to our login.css, SCSS, and we'll put some code here. So the first thing we can do is to first of all identify the button or the path we want to enter the code. So let's just give this guy a class, and let's just call it forgot password button. You can call yours anything. We just want to use this as an identifier, and then we come to login CSS, SCSS, then we'll do .fp button, then we'll do this guy here, then we'll give it a margin top. What would the margin top be? Let's just say 50 pixels, and when there's 50 pixels, we'll wait for it to refresh, and as you can see, it's now down here. So let's just say that we want to center this one too, so that they will be on the same vertical or horizontal line. What we'll do is to put these guys inside the ion buttons I showed you in the past, the two buttons, the login and the sign up. Then of course we'll find a way to identify this guy. We can just say that this is join button or whatever. So we go to your CSS and we'll write a CSS for it. So we can say text align center. So I've just shown you the two ways to make things like that align. And when we get back to our page, what do we have? It's now in the center. Alright, is this the only button we need? So we have to work on this. One thing we can do is when they click forgot password, it will take them to forgot password page, and they will enter their details. Or when they click on this, a pop-up will show asking them to enter their email and when they click send, then this same page can process it. Alright, so I think I choose the second option where a pop-up will show. So let's do it so that you can see how to work with pop-ups. So quickly we have to set this guy here. We can just say if this guy here is clicked, you can say click. If this guy is clicked, we should call a function that redirects show forgot password. You can just call yours anything. This is what I choose to call mine. So we get into the login.ts page and we'll create this function, show forgot password. We just find a space before this last guy here, or under your, or directly under your constructor. You can put it here. So, but I choose to put it here. So what did we call it? We called it show forgot password. Alright, and we'll just come here and say show forgot password. And so now we have this guy. What we'll do is to add, since we want a pop-up, we are going to import something called alert controller. We already have imported it in the past, so we have an alert controller, and we import it in our constructor. We declare it, declare this variable alert controller, and of the type alert controller. Remember, it's case sensitive. Then once we have this, we can now add a pop-up right here. Okay, I will not go over the alert system again. You can always go to Ionic page and read up alert controller. So I'll just paste it here, and this is what I just pasted. I just pasted this guy now. So let me explain. We first of all declare the variable, and we'll call this particular method inside alert controller, and what it does is create our alert for us. And then the alert will have a title of enter email, and have a message, a small little message right under the title. I will say a new password will be sent to you, to your email. Okay, and we are going to have a field, one text box called email, and we're going to have a placeholder inside that field. It will type email, or we can just say you at example.com. Okay, so right inside the text box, and then there will be two buttons. The first one will be for the user to cancel it. We can just say cancel. The user can cancel the pop-up that showed up, or the user can actually submit. We can just say reset. Let's just say submit. Okay, so finally, this is the particular line that calls this pop-up. If this line is not here, this pop-up will not show up. Okay, and one thing we can do is, once it is successful, this is when the user clicks submit. Here we are supposed to call user service. Our user service, remember this guy here. We have a user service somewhere. This guy, we're supposed to call it. So inside our user service.ts, we're supposed to create a function here that recovers user's password. So I am right now in user service.ts, and we create a function that we can call forgot password user. So this function, yes, you can. This function will just basically, it's just one line to recover your password. So it will be this dot fire out dot, remember this fire out, it send password reset email. So what email will it send it to? We'll declare this variable just now. So this function should expect a variable email of the type any. So whenever we're calling this function, we'll call it with the variable email of the type any. So what we'll do is we'll get back to our login.ts. So once the user clicks here we are at the bottom at our show forgot password. So once the user clicks show forgot password, we should collect the value of the email this entered. Let's reset this to email. Let's just call it recovery email. Okay, so right here, when the user has succeeded, data is passed in. So this data is returned. So the data will be returned, and the return data will carry this. So if we want to access whatever the user has entered here in the text box, we will access it as data dot whatever name we give this. So this one will be data dot recover email. You get the point now, right now. So I'll show you an example. We'll have a console.log, and then we'll have a data dot recover email, and we can just add a little sentence to it, then we pass this email the person entered. So when the person clicks on submit, we'll just print out this in the console. So let's test our function. Be sure you don't have any extra closing bracelets here like me. Alright, so what we'll do is we can click on this. Okay, it's refreshing. Once it refreshes, as you can see up here, it's refreshing. So once it refreshes, we'll test what we have built so far. So right here, we click on forgot password. We have a pop-up, and then enter your email. A new password will be sent to your email, and then we have the email. So we can type the. So that's my email, my real email. So click on submit. Keep your eye here. This is my console. As you can see on my browser, I have this console. So if you want yours to show up like this, all you have to do, like I told you before, is right click on your page, inspect element, then you select the display pattern here. I selected this. So keep your eye on the console, and when I click submit, what you have, a little sentence to it. Then we have davozalo@gmail.com, which is the email I just entered when it popped up. So we are good to go. So the next thing we can do is to call the user service, this.users service dot I hope you know the user service I'm calling. The reason I'm typing this, we're trying to recover the password. Here we declared it in the constructor. We declared this variable and assign it the type user service. So which means we can go back to our user service page, and we now have access to this guy. And this guy requires an email parameter. So we'll copy this password, forgot password user function, and then we come to our user login.ts, and down there where we're working at, we have this guy. So this guy expects an email, so we pass in this email, and we'll click this, and of course we can now delete this console.log. So this guy receives an email. Of course we will return a promise, and we'll say then, and then we'll say then we'll add one more closing bracelet. So something like this, and then right here we can now give the user whatever report we want to give them, maybe password successful or something, password reset successful. So I would like to send a toast. I'd like to add a toast to this. You will see what toasts are in Ionic2. But before then, every time you want to make a call to your database, always make sure that you put a kind of a preloader, so that the user will see something that's loading while your app makes a call to the database, because nobody knows how long it will last. So the user will see that something is happening in the background. So we have to figure out a place to put it. So once the user clicks on that, just before we start making a call to Firebase, we should add a add preloader. Then we can make a call to the database, then add toast. Okay, so we'll add a preloader so you see how we add preloaders. Of course, we add a loading controller. We've done that before. We've added a loading controller in Ionic Angular. Then we come to our constructor and declare it as any variable you want, private. Then I call this loading ctrl, so which means we can now come back to our function and add a loading controller. I'm just going to paste it. Remember, you can go to Ionic page documentation and read up loading controller, okay? So to see other ways to do that. So what happens is that once the user clicks submit, a pop-up will show up, and the pop-up will have these words: resetting your password, and it will keep rotating. While it's rotating, it's making a call to the to Firebase. Once this call is successful, it will then we'll have to stop the rotation. Okay, so this is what the user is seeing why this one is happening. So we have to stop this from here. Okay, so right here we are going to call this function and loading, and so you know we have let's loading equals to loading controller create this and resetting your password. So we're going to remove this. Like I said, you can always copy this exact code exactly from the Ionic page. I'm just adjusting it for our purpose. So what we have here is loading dot dismiss. So this returns a promise. So we can say once the user service call is complete, we should just close this guy, and when we close it, we can say then, did I just delete this? Okay, we can say then this guy again, then we can say right here we'll add another pop-up. A pop-up will just show up here, show pop-up. The pop-up will show up confirming to the user that the password was successful. But what if it wasn't successful? They will return an error. So when we need to show a pop-up here, but first of all we need to make sure that this guy starts loading immediately. So we declare the variable, we load this guy, we come here and stop it from loading, and then we show a pop-up. What if there was an error? If there was an error, this guy, everything here will not run. Everything within these curly brackets will not run if there was an error recovering password. What we can do is to add a callback for the error. We can say if there is an error and show pop. So it can show the pop-up for the error, pop-up containing the error. Because I am such a lazy person, I'll go to where we did something like that before and simply copy. As you can see, we should add this too. So error, we have this guy here, and then we paste the guy for the error. This is a pop-up that will alert the user that there's an error, basically error message, and say okay, error resetting password, So this is an error resetting password. Then it will show the error message and show a button for the person to click OK. Then we can do the same thing. We can do the same thing right here and say show a message, password successfully reset. Check your email. Then we can say subtitle password reset successful, depending on how you want to do yours. Password reset successful. Okay, there we are. We show this pop-up, or we show this depending on the output. So we can go back to our page, and the page refreshes. As you can see, it's refreshing, and the server is rebuilding it. So once we have our page back, we can have blah, blah, blah. This is a wrong email. We have never registered this email, so we should get an error that this email doesn't exist. So we click submit. Error resetting password. There is no user record corresponding to this identifier. The user may have been deleted. So rightfully, we've got an error. But then we have only one email that we have registered in this app so far. Oops. Did you notice that this doesn't close this guy? So we have to go back to our code and make sure that when someone clicks OK, that it closes this guy. So the reason why that button wasn't clicking was because we didn't stop the loader. You know, the loader was loading in the background. If the password reset was successful, we stopped the loader with this, then we show the alert to show that it was successful. But in the error message part, in case it failed, in the error part, we didn't stop the loader, we just pumped up the message. So the loader was behind the message loading while the message was here. So it was impossible to click the button on the front page. So right now you already know how we can fix that, which is basically we'll make sure that this guy is inside. No need to retype, we'll just say stop the loader, then process this guy. We'll copy these two and paste under here. So we stop the loader, we stop the loader, then we process this guy, and that's it. Any other thing? No. So we basically wait till it loads. Then we go, we type a useless email, and then we click submit because we're expecting an error. It says error resetting password. The email address is badly formatted. Cool. So we type a correct email, but it's the wrong email that we never registered. So gmail.com, randomstuff@gmail.com. We'll get another error. Then this is the only email we have registered in this stuff. So we say davepartner@gmail.com. This is a fake email, not mine. So click submit. And what do you have? Check your email, password reset successful. Alright. And that's it. So see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you very much.